In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to calculate panel impact ratio, also known as PIR. PIR refers to the percentage of chemical exiting the foam cannon. For example, a 2% PIR means the stream exiting the foam cannon is made of 98% water and 2% chemical. Now that we understand PIR, we can begin. But first, we're going to need some materials. For this, we're going to need a bucket, a foam cannon, a scale, and a pen and paper. I highly recommend the Pilot G2 for an unparalleled writing experience. In the description of this video is a link to a worksheet that has a step-by-step procedure of everything that we're going to go through. I highly suggest printing this out and following along with the video. This will help you keep track of your numbers before we put them into the calculator at the end. Let's move on to step 1. In this first step, we're going to weigh an empty bucket. You want to make sure that when you turn on your scale, that it is zeroed and that it is set to grams. Once you've set your scale to grams, place the bucket on top of the scale and record the weight. Now, let's take our foam cannon and fill it with water. You want to fill it up pretty high so that the dip tube stays in the water throughout our test. There's no need to measure anything because we're doing everything by weight. This is a good place to pause the video and take a bathroom break if you haven't already. Before we do our test, make sure that the adjustment knob is turned to maximum foam. You're going to need that for a good measurement. Now we can take the cannon and put it on the scale. You'll want to turn on your scale, zero it, and make sure that it's set to grams. Once everything's settled, record the weight. Now it's time to take the foam cannon and connect it to the pressure washer. You want to spray into the bucket against the sidewall. This helps prevent splashing. If we splash, it can ruin the measurement. As you can see, this can be done with a 3.5 gallon bucket with no lid. I've sped up the video, but you only need to discharge the cannon for 15 to 30 seconds. You don't want to discharge the cannon until it's empty. You want to have a little bit of water left over. And yes, that is a leaking quick connect. Unfortunately, I didn't notice it until after the video was filmed. Moving on to step 4, we're going to do the same thing that we did in steps 1 and 2. We're going to turn on our scale, make sure it's zeroed out, and we're going to weigh the bucket with the water in it. You'll see the scale reading fluctuate up and down. Let the water settle and then record your weight. A pro tip here is to use a shipping scale with a remote display. I'm using a kitchen scale, and unfortunately, that makes it difficult to read. And now we're on the last step, step 5. Turn on your scale, make sure it's zeroed, and place your foam cannon on the scale. Let everything settle, and once it has, you can record the weight. Now, go to the description of this video and click on the link that goes to the PIR calculator. This will bring you to a spreadsheet that you can download. Once you have it downloaded, you can fill in your values into the blue boxes on the right. On the left-hand side are the corresponding step numbers to help you keep track. Once you've entered the numbers for each step, you'll see that the sheet has calculated a mixing rate. This is highlighted in the first yellow row. It represents the rate at which your foam cannon mixes soap into the stream. Every foam cannon will be different. It's important to note that your foam cannon itself does not have a PIR, but it does have a mixing rate, which is used to calculate PIR concentration. Next on the sheet, you'll see Scenario 1 and Scenario 2. In Scenario 1, this is for situations where the manufacturer has given you a PIR, so all you need to do is enter that number and enter the amount of water you'll be using in your foam cannon. You'll see in the second yellow row, a number pops up. This is the amount of chemical you need to add to your foam cannon so that you can get the correct PIR. In this example, our target PIR is 0.5%. We'll be using 500 milliliters in our foam cannon. That means we need to add 35 milliliters of shampoo to hit the correct PIR. Scenario 2 is slightly different. This is more for if you used your foam cannon and you got really good foam but didn't keep track of the PIR. You can enter the amount of water that was in the foam cannon and how much chemical you added, and this will give you the PIR of the mixture that was used. In this example, we had 650 milliliters in the bottle, and we had used 80 milliliters of soap. That would have given us a PIR mixture of 0.89%. Thank you for watching. This is the end of the video. I appreciate you sticking around, and I hope that you found this useful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. In the meantime, get out there, grab your favorite soap, and happy foaming. Froze in the car.